Coming up on KATU News Midday, the McMinnville spanking case.
So now this case can heal, the parties involved can heal, and all can move forward. Motion granted, case dismissed.
2 boys accused of sexual harassment for spanking classmates won't go to trial. Their apology and why some of the victims agreed to drop the charges. Plus, a jet in Japan explodes on the ground. How all the passengers got off alive. And Hurricane Dean gets stronger. The damage in its wake, and the Mexican resorts now in the storm's crosshairs. KATU's Midday News starts right now.
Live at noon, KATU News, the spirit of the Northwest.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. I'm Natalie Marmion.
And I'm Carl Click. First on 2, the spanking case is closed.
A judge dropped the case against 2 13-year-old boys after their accusers told the judge they no longer wanted to press charges. KATU's Brian Barker live in McMinnville. Brian, you just spoke with the boys.
I did. They're obviously very relieved. They say they're just really feel bad for what happened. They say they were just playing around in that middle school hallway and had no idea it would come to this. They've spent countless hours in court and 6 months with their lives in the public eye. Now, finally, they're finished.
We're really happy. We're so excited it's over, finally. Yeah. The girls accepted our apology.
Corey Mashburn and Ryan Corneliuson are now comfortable in front of cameras, but just months ago, they were in handcuffs. Prosecutors got word of their case after a teacher's aide saw the 2 boys spanking girls' bottoms in a middle school hallway. It landed them in court facing criminal charges. But today, the boys' attorneys reached settlements with all 4 girls who the boys spanked.
If I offended you or your parents, I'm sorry.
And after a short apology to the victims,
Motion granted, case dismissed.
the case was over.
I'm very happy. It's finally over, and as I said before, justice has finally been served.
The boys' parents, along with many in McMinnville, believed this should have been handled at school, not in court. Do you think you went too far?
No. No, I don't think I went too far. If it is happening all the time in schools, it's wrong.
But the prosecutor defends her case. She says at least one of the alleged victims agreed to the plea deal reluctantly.
There are still young women, even here today, who were significantly bothered by the behavior that was going on in the schools.
As for the boys, they say this has been quite a learning experience.
We just learn to think before we do things, and some things that are funny aren't always appropriate.
And everybody has their own boundaries, and you have to respect that.
That's an important lesson, a lesson that those boys want to share with anyone who will listen. Boys' parents blame the school district for letting this go to court in the first place, and you heard the boys apologizing. That was actually part of the settlement. They say they want to be friends with those girls again. We are live in McMinnville. Brian Barker, KATU News.
Many lessons in all that, Brian. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Well, a Portland man is in the hospital after he was shot by a police officer this morning. It happened at an apartment complex on the 12,000 block of Southeast Stark. The standoff lasted almost 2 hours.
KATU's Angelica Thornton joins us live from the scene with exclusive video of the suspect being taken into custody. Angelica?
Natalie and Carl, the suspect's name hasn't been released yet. He was clearly wounded when this ended, but well enough to walk right past us. Police say he won't get to spend too much time in the hospital before he goes to jail. The 26-year-old suspect stood silently, his head bleeding and wrapped in bandages, his hands cuffed as he waited to be loaded into an ambulance. Paramedics secured him to a stretcher with zip ties and took him away. An hour and a half after police say he beat his live-in girlfriend, knocking out several of her teeth. The 911 call came in at 6:40.
Dispatch is telling officers that as the complainant is calling in, they're hearing shots being fired in the background.
I woke up, I look outside and it's like 1,000 police cars and camouflage everywhere.
The CERT team responded. 20 minutes later, police say negotiators convinced the man to release his girlfriend and a teenager that was also inside the apartment, but he would not surrender and was somehow able to leave the apartment several times.
They told us to clear away from this area and basically just keep my head down because there's shooters out there and there might be a shooter on the loose.
An officer eventually fired a shot. Investigators tell KATU News they don't know exactly why she pulled the trigger.
Certainly all indications are that she did fire the weapon one time, and the bullet apparently either very slightly grazed the suspect or missed the suspect in flying glass as the bullet went through the window.
Officers canvassed the neighborhood with guns drawn, thinking there may have been another armed man barricading himself in the apartment. But there was no one inside. Will Harris knows the suspect and says he's not a violent person.
I couldn't see that at all, man. He's a good person.
Friends were relieved to see the suspect walking away, but they're still accusing police of using excessive force.
Why did they shoot me in the head? That was like the last thing we heard from him. So.
Now, police told us that the suspect needed a few stitches, maybe even just a Band-Aid. No word on what charges he'll face. The officer is speaking with her attorney right now. She'll be questioned by detectives this afternoon. Live in Southeast Portland, Angelica Thornton, KATU News.
Angelica, thank you very much. Clark County deputies are investigating the death of a 16-year-old killed while being pulled behind a vehicle on a skateboard. Friends say that Joey Madison was holding on to the driver's side window of an SUV when he lost his grip and fell under the wheels. It's a stunt known in the skateboarding community as skitching. This is an example we found on YouTube. The driver of the SUV was a friend of Madison.
The driver obviously knew he hit something, but stopped the vehicle immediately and was hoping that he'd just run over the skateboard, not his friend.
Deputies say neither alcohol or drugs appear to be factors in this case. They're still investigating the death, so there is a chance charges could be filed in the future.
Well, we know it is looking more like March out there than August. KATU's Julia Radlick joins us to let us know if we do have more summertime in our forecast. What are you seeing, Julia?
We do have summertime. We have 24 hours before we're going to get there. A lot of rain falling around the region. It happened yesterday morning. It happened once again this morning. And it just doesn't want to seem to let go of us, but it will. Storm alert Doppler radar right now showing plenty of moisture, especially over the Cascades. The trend throughout the afternoon is the mountains are going to get the majority of it. But as we take a closer look in here towards the Portland metro area, you can see Clackamas County, Yamhill, Marion counties, Lynn counties all getting fairly wet at this hour. Well, Yamhill County is just now starting to dry out, but overall, it's east of the I-5 corridor where we're really seeing the most moisture. On the bigger picture here, you can see that it's mostly an Oregon and Washington event. Areas in southern Oregon aren't seeing as much rainfall, and that is also going to be the trend as the jet stream is kind of aimed right at the Oregon-Washington border at this hour. 24-hour rainfall, about a tenth here in Portland, a little over a tenth in Vancouver. 14/100ths in Salem and almost 2/10 in Hillsborough. As you head further north, you get more. Scappoose has seen over ½ an inch at 6/10 of an inch of rain just in the last 24 hours. We'll take a closer look at when this will come to an end and when temperatures might actually get back up to normal ahead in the newscast.
All right, Julia, thank you very much. Watch this now. A passenger jet in Japan catches fire, then explodes, and it's all caught on video. Officials say all 165 people on board escaped the China Airlines jet. The pilot leaped from the cockpit window just seconds before that blast. The explosion was so big it knocked a ground crew worker off his feet. 2 people were taken to the hospital, but no one was seriously injured.
A man with local ties was on the plane during that incident. Joshua Barnes, seen here with his wife, Satoka, escaped that flight unharmed. Now, Satoka was not on the plane with him. Joshua, who graduated from Westland High School, was in Japan on business. He now lives in San Diego. We spoke to his mom, who still lives in Beaverton, on the phone this morning. She says she has not heard from Joshua, but his wife did get a patchy phone call saying he was okay.
Well, Little Leaguers from Lake Oswego will not have a chance to accomplish the big dream today. Rain has postponed all baseball games of the Little League World Series. Lake Oswego was supposed to play Ohio for a chance to move on to the next round. Yesterday, the Lakers beat Walpole, Massachusetts to bring their record of the World Series to 1-1. Mitch Lomax, son of former Portland State quarterback and NFL quarterback Neil Lomax, held Massachusetts in check for 5+ innings on the mound. And then in the 6th, Reed Penny hit the big home run to give Lake Oswego its only score and the win.
Hurricane Dean hitting the Cayman Islands. 8 deaths are now blamed on the storm. The National Hurricane Center fears Dean could be a monstrous Category 5 by the time it crashes into Mexico's Caribbean coast sometime tomorrow. Janie Stanwood has more on tourists who are scrambling at this point for safety.
So you arrived from Venezuela yesterday?
Yesterday, yes. We arrived yesterday from Venezuela.
This family tells us they had no idea Dean was coming.
Before we arrived yesterday, we called to the hotel, and the hotel didn't tell us anything about it.
¿Tienes miedo? She says she's scared, but hopeful everything will be all right. This visitor staying in the same hotel thinks the staff there is downplaying the severity of Hurricane Dean, which has now prompted a hurricane warning on this side, the eastern edge of the city of Cancun. All he got was a note on his door. What did it say?
It said within the next 50 hours there's going to be a hurricane hit, and we should contact our travel agents and make preparations to leave.
In Jamaica, the government had ordered those living in dangerous areas to evacuate, as Dean pounded down on the island nation with a fury. But only 47 of the 1,000 hurricane shelters were occupied. Now flooding and debris are making many roads in the city of Kingston impassable. Before that, Dean's fierce winds caused heavy damage to areas in the Dominican Republic, and flooding caused one boy to drown. In total, the storm has claimed the lives of 8 people in the Caribbean. Here in Cancun, visitors are bracing for their own survival. Many of these hotels have already started boarding up and have asked their guests to leave. Others are just bracing for fierce wind and rain that could come as early as tonight. For ABC News, I'm Janine Stanwood.
And Hurricane Dean forcing the Space Shuttle Endeavour to come home early. That shuttle is now scheduled to land at Kennedy Space Center tomorrow. Mission Control says it's keeping a close eye on crosswinds that could make landing difficult. Meanwhile, NASA has inspected laser scans of the shuttle and has cleared Endeavour for landing.
Well, we have breaking news about Michael Vick. The NFL quarterback will plead guilty to a dogfighting conspiracy charge. Vick now faces the possibility of up to 5 years in jail and a $250,000 fine. This also puts his playing career in jeopardy. The plea announcement comes just days after 3 other defendants pled guilty, and at least one specified Vick's role in the killing of some dogs. He has a plea hearing scheduled for August 27th.
Other news now, as students at Virginia Tech returned to class today for the first time since a gunman walked onto campus and killed 32 people. Those 32. Last night, a carbon monoxide leak at an off-campus apartment left at least 2 tech students in critical condition. Several others were hospitalized.
Well, back to school time. Going to school can be tough on young children. Still ahead, the symptoms of separation anxiety and ways for both parents and kids to cope.
Awesome. More on our weather. Look at the gray skies. Is there more rain in store? Julia Radlick has our detailed forecast. It's coming up.
And up next, a helicopter touches down in floodwaters in order to pull 2 people to safety. The amazing work of that pilot and what one of the victims said about this dramatic rescue.
Wheel of Fortune's reporting for duty. Yeah! So hop on board. Wheel saluting the armed forces from sunny San Diego. This is a direct order. There's more spinning and winning next wheel.
Tonight at 7:30 on K2.
Oh gosh, it's added years to my life because I could fall off the darn ladder, you know. No, it's added a lot. The appeal of the gutters are just fantastic.
Thank you, Mr. Bender. Did you hear that? It's added years to his life because he could have fallen off the ladder. Don't get up on the ladder again to clean out the gutters. Call us here in Portland this Monday during the noon hour to get a free estimate. Let me keep your gutters clean forever. Now, take a look at this guy. He didn't listen to us. He's up there cleaning out the gutters. That's where accidents could happen. Now, look at the Leaf Guard system. It's the only one-piece leaf shedding and rainwater management system guaranteed not to clog, or we'll come clean them for free. And look at this, it's earned the Good Housekeeping seal. Why don't you call in this Monday? You've been putting it off. We know the leaves are going to fall, the rains are going to come. Now's the time to call us here in Portland. Save 50% on installation. In addition to that, you get 6 months same as cash and a $100 gas card with purchase. Call 1-800-GUTTERS Leaf Guard today. That's 1-800-GUTTERS. Call this Monday.
Lose up to 20 pounds and pay only $99. It's easy with the new LA Weight Loss Express program. Losing weight has never been easier and more affordable than ever. You pay only $99 for up to 20 pounds. The new LA Weight Loss Express way. And you get our one-on-one counseling all included. You can make it happen. For the center nearest you, call 1-800-526-SLIM. Proud sponsor of the Komen Portland Race for the Cure, Sunday, September 23rd.
What's everyone saying about Jeopardy's teen tournament?
More.
More fun, more tough challenges.
Not the dreaded spelling category.
Yup, that and more. Next Jeopardy.
Tonight at 7 on K2. This segment of K2 News brought to you in part by Saturn.
Take a look at these pictures out of Oklahoma. A couple was rescued from raging floodwaters. The man and woman had been in the water nearly 2 hours when that chopper came for them. You can see the chopper leave with the woman. Look at her go. She was barely hanging onto the skid. She just couldn't hang on any longer, and she dropped back into the water.
It was hard to pull myself up there, and Randy here was trying to pull on me, but it was hard to lift yourself.
The second time they circled around and picked her up, her husband also had a tough time pulling himself up under the helicopter skid. They did manage to hop on, though, when the chopper was lowered closer to the water. Both were dropped off. They made it to the shore. Today, they're doing just fine.
I love that. Randy here.
Randy here, yeah.
Good thing Randy was here, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, let's take a look at our weather forecast. We're going to get through today, and then Julia's got some nice stuff for us. Julia.
We do have some nice stuff later on in the week, but for now, what we're watching closely is Hurricane Dean, which is forecast to strengthen to a Category 5 hurricane as it comes just to the edge of the Yucatan Peninsula. And right now, the eye is aimed to hit just south of the Cancun-Cozumel area. So quite a dangerous hurricane. Wind sustained at about 150 miles per hour with gusts up to 185 at this hour. It's crossing over extremely warm water, so it's expected to build in strength. And you can tell when a hurricane becomes very symmetrical in shape and when the eye is extremely well defined, the hurricane is intense, it's intensifying, and it's very strong, and that's exactly what's happening. It'll eventually cross over the Yucatan Peninsula and then cross over into the Gulf of Mexico, weaken somewhat as it heads inland into Mexico, but there is a fear that it may kind of come inland just to the south of southern Texas, the Brownsville area. However, I don't think we're going to see a direct hit. Right now it's 65 degrees here in the metro area, 67 in Vancouver, 63 degrees in Salem, so warming up slowly. Let's take a look at Storm Alert Doppler radar if we can and show you what's happening. Most of the rainfall is to the east side of the I-5 corridor at this hour, so really most of it in the Cascades, and that's where it's going to stay for much of the day, as well as in the Coast Range. So other current readings around the area, it's 64 degrees in Kelso, 63 in Eugene, 63 in Seattle. We're starting off at about 65 now in the metro area. At 5 o'clock, we should be at about 70 degrees. That'll be the high for the day. And then at 10 o'clock tonight, 64, we should keep cloudy skies for much of the day today with a chance of a shower on and off. But the rest of the week, things are going to dry out by Tuesday evening. We'll have the typical pattern of morning clouds and then lots of afternoon sunshine. And we'll finally begin to warm up into the low 80s, which is where we should be for this time of year. Today, instead, will be a good 10 degrees below normal. The reason being, well, the jet stream has flattened out across the area, brought in this area of moisture. The moisture did have some tropical origins. That's why we're getting so much water for this time of year. And it's also beginning to move out, so that's good news, and we'll gradually see these showers come to an end by tomorrow morning. So here's the forecast for the day today. We'll see 64 in Astoria, 65 in Tillamook, 63 in Newport, with scattered showers on and off, especially along the Coast Range, also in the Cascade foothills today. It'll reach 66 in Longview, 67 in Vancouver, 70 in Salem, and 70 in Eugene. The further south you head, the less chance of rain you're going to see. So the rain chances drop off dramatically as you head towards Eugene, Corvallis, and areas south of Eugene, like Medford and the Ashland area. So today, up in the mountains, the freezing level will be above 8,000 feet with rain likely, temperature of about 58 degrees at Government Camp. There is a slight chance of rain in Central Oregon, however, it's very slight. Instead, what you'll notice there is the temperature difference. Very cool for this time of year with numbers in the mid-70s. A similar situation over in eastern Oregon with numbers in the mid to low 70s as well. Burns should get to the upper 70s, about 79 degrees. Chance of rain in the Columbia Basin with strong winds in the Dalles, and in the Gorge, we're looking at a similar situation near Hood River with cloudy skies to maybe some sunshine this afternoon, but overall cloudy with showers, and definitely cloudy with showers over on the west side of the Gorge. Here in Portland today, we'll reach a high of 70 degrees with southwest winds at 5 to 10 miles per hour with a chance of rain through the evening. Then it begins to dry out. There's still a slight chance of a morning shower tomorrow, but then things should quickly turn to blue sky and sunshine, or at least some of it, partly cloudy, we're going to call it. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday of this next week, that's when the real sunshine's going to come and the temperature finally warms up to normal, low 80s, so that'll be nice.
We are earning our sunny days this summer.
We are. It's been a very strange summer, hasn't it?
Julia, thank you.
Well, we all know there are plenty of great spots to get good eats in the Northwest, and we want to share with you some of the places that give the Northwest its character. It may be Northeast Portland, but the color and the dining and the attitude take you back to the beach of the Caribbean. That's why we tell you gotta eat at Palm Beach. Palm Beach means Palm Beach. To regulars at the Northeast Portland restaurant, it means great Cuban food.
Cuban food is essentially Spanish cuisine, but with a tropical Caribbean flair to it. This is our lengua and salsa.
And there's so much flair, Chef John Connell Marabona says he sometimes gets criticized for his menu. It's so big. Can there be too much good food?
This can be overwhelming for people.
There's a lot of choices, and I have a few questions to ask the waitress.
These are the beef empanadas.
The signature appetizer here is the empanada, crisp individual pies filled with many savory choices.
See the dessert in the back? That's the papagayo.
And JC gets creative when it comes to dessert time.
I've been working for years and years and years on developing a way to bring traditional Cuban flavors into American-style desserts. So, you know, we have the papaya cheesecake with the raspberries and macadamia nuts, the drunken banana cake, the lime and the coconut.
All this leads to many customers enjoying all the courses at Palm Beach. And to another minor criticism, it's a popular place in a small space. There can be a bit of a wait, but all the more time to enjoy the colorful ambiance.
Deja eso, mama.
Like Ninfa, the parrot, all the Latin art on the walls, and the building itself.
It took like 3 months to paint the building, yeah, 7 colors. You know, Portland is very gray. 70% of the time it's very gray here. So part of bringing the Palm Beach aspect to Portland is bringing that color and that vibrancy.
Well, Palm Beach is at 28th and Gleason. It recently opened up for breakfast on the weekends and soon will be open for breakfast 7 days a week to add to lunch and dinner. So if you'd like us to feature your favorite restaurant, go to our website, KATU.com, and under features, you look for You Gotta Eat, and you send us an email, and then we go out and eat.
And it's lunchtime, so let's go.
There you go. You're treating.
Oh, well, okay, let's go try it. A new way to get your food on the go ahead on Midday. Bacon, eggs, and toast with no utensils. Look at this, the new creation of eating breakfast on a stick.
But before that, next, it's time to send the kids off to school, but the little ones might not be ready. How both students and parents can deal with separation anxiety.
Tonight at 5, summer is time for travel and getting lost.
Turn right on Separated Avenue.
KATU News shows you the Best Buy portable GPS devices and the important features you should look for. Tonight at 5 on KATU News.
5 of us had finally got leaf guard, and everybody was smiling about it when it was done, especially my neighbor in the back. He also had just retired, and he did not want to fool with cleaning out gutters.
Thank you, Maynard Moe from up at Vancouver. Did you hear that 5 of the neighbors decided to get leaf guard because it's a fantastic product? In fact, you can call us right now. We'll talk to all the neighbors, and if 4 or 5 of you buy, we'll just have a block party. 1-800-GUTTERS, the number to call right now. Follow me back here, Stephen. Look at the leaf guard system. This is a permanent solution. I mean, once we put this on, this is going to eliminate clogged gutters for good, and the warranty's transferable. Look at the colors to choose from. Call in now. Take advantage of these special summer savings. 50% off installation and 6 months same as cash. Let me keep your gutters clean forever. Call 1-800-GUTTERS right now. We thank you for calling in from Cedar Hills, Beaverton, that's by us, and also if you call in now, you get a $100 gas card with purchase. Eliminate clogged gutters for good. Call this Monday.
Whether your company has a couple of employees or a whole bunch, finding good dental insurance can be a tough nut to crack. Some plans may look fine on the outside, but high deductibles and complicated billing can turn things sour. Other plans, well, it can be hard figuring out just what it is they have to offer. And more times than not, you find yourself comparing apples with oranges. Our advice? Take the apple. Advantage Dental Plan. At last, a dental plan designed with the patient in mind.
Help kids get off to a great start this school year by donating school supplies.
Family Matters is sponsoring a school supply drive to benefit friends of the children.
Now through August 20th, you can drop off or mail new school supplies. Last year, we tripled our numbers. This year, we want to do even better.
For more information about the Family Matters School Supplies Drive, go to KATU.com.
Because K2, Providence Health System, Rada Paint, and 24-Hour Fitness know that family matters. To your health this midday, the start of the new school year can be filled with anxiety for some children.
And somebody else too, right? Judy Fortin shows us some ways for both parents and kids to cope with the transition.
It's the first day of kindergarten for 5-year-old Sebastian Grau, and his mother admits she's a wreck.
I was up about half of the night, worried about Sebastian and what our transition would be like today. We've had some rough transitions in previous years.
Experts say separation anxiety is fairly common among young children, and they don't always know what causes it.
When a child is anxious, they can look really scared and sometimes act quite irrationally.
That's what happened to Sebastian during his preschool years.
When he leaves me, he holds onto my leg and he won't let go, and the teachers oftentimes have to kind of tackle him.
Meeting the new teacher ahead of time can help ease the transition. So can positive words from a parent.
Be clear, matter of fact, completely confident, even if you have to fake it, and sort of go about it as though it's no big deal.
For the Graus, that was easier said than done.
He started giving me a big hug and he didn't want to let go, but he did great. I mean, it was much better than anticipated.
For today's Health Minute, I'm Judy Fortin.
That's a memorable day.
Yeah, it is. I
Probably
still have
for
memories.
parents more than the kids.
Yeah, kids forget all about it.
Breakfast to go, how you can enjoy a square meal off a stick. It's next.
Is it really square?
Tomorrow on AM Northwest.
Do you stash and dash? Clean out the clutter with tips for organizing the utility room and rev up your body's engine. Learn how to have more energy the natural way.
Watch tomorrow at 9.
I think putting leaf guard on the house has increased the sales price, because that's one of the things we would list, equipped with leaf guard rain gutters.
Thank you, Ross Hogan from Damascus. Now, we were talking about this as the permanent solution, and the warranty's transferable, and Mr. Hogan was talking about it would increase the value of his home. Take a look at the leaf guard system being installed. We install it on the fascia. We're not going to put any nails or holes in the roof, which could alter the warranty. And think about it. All that rain can cause damage to your overhang and trim, landscaping, flower beds, even your foundation. Call 1-800-GUTTERS today. This Monday, it is the 20th. Take advantage of these special savings this summer. 50% off installation. Beat the price increase. Don't worry about clogged gutters again and all of that rain coming in and washing away your flower bed. 6 months, same as cash. In addition to that, a free $100 gas card with purchase. Now, I know we could all use that, and you could use the leaf guard system. Let me keep your gutters clean forever. Call right now.
When I turned 50, looked around at my ranch and just thought this was going to be way too much work for as overweight as I am right now. I decided that I was going to look into positive changes, and I'm really thankful that I did. I lost 47 pounds in less than 6 months. All the stuff that you've learned over your life about eating right and doing the right things comes out naturally. Even my horse thanks positive changes.
Call for your free consultation today. Positive Changes Hypnosis Centers. Yes, it works.
Tired of paying too much for your glasses? Binions has the answer. Half off all frames and lenses during the Binions half off sale. Most glasses are ready in about an hour. The Binions half off sale for a limited time. Binions, why pay more?
Summer means great weekday discounts at Oaks Amusement Park. This summer, enjoy the best ride discounts ever, like 2-for-1 ride bracelets, free go-karts, Dance Dance Revolution Party, and more. Plus, no gate fee and free parking. Check oakspark.com for details.
This segment of K2 News is brought to you in part by Honda.
All right, if you find yourself always eating on the go, a new creation may help you out. It's breakfast on a stick, Natalie. It debuted at the Illinois State Fair this weekend, and they had a competition for the best recipe. Concoctions range from deviled eggs on a stick to breakfast kebabs. There were 2 winners, though. One was the sensational Sunrise Dippers. That's a sausage, egg, and cheese wrapped in a biscuit on a stick. The other was bacon-wrapped buttermilk crepes on a stick.
The kids would probably enjoy it. I'd just be thrilled to get breakfast.
Easier to dip in the syrup that way with on the stick like that.
Just don't eat and drive, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You're hungry, aren't you?
I am.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.